Good evening, Morai v'Rabotai. Tizku l'shanim rabot, neimot v'tovot. The topic for tonight's lecture is how to improve, or secrets of how to improve your relationships. This is a very vague topic, to say the least. What relationships are we talking about? Between Baal leisha, husband to wife, parents to children, man to man, man to his creator. It's not so clear, so it kind of leaves the door open for me to kind of touch upon various bases. The word secret bothers me. What is secret? Well, I'm telling you Kabbalah. I don't think it's Kabbalah exactly secrets. I think it's very basic things, like the Mishlad Yesharim writes. It's very basic things that we all know, but we need chizuk. We need to maybe kind of put extra emphasis on it. And Bezrat Hashem, all of us will hopefully be inspired. You know, I've known this keilah for many years. Mostly Israelis. When I walked in, you see the Israelis outside talking, enjoying themselves. I know it's mostly an Israeli crowd over here. Israelis love politics. You know, Israeli politics is, it's up there when it comes to world politics. Could be pretty aggressive. But I heard a story of something that happened in London, which I think is competition with what goes on in Israel. They say that one time there was a certain leader, politician standing and talking, and during his speech, one of the opposition leaders, a woman, starts screaming at him, and she tells him, "You sound like a drunk man." So he looks at her and he tells her, "And you are a very ugly woman." Chutzpah, nachon? Okay, beseder. And then he adds, "But by tomorrow morning, I'm not going to be drunk anymore, but you're still going to be ugly." You know, eventually they say that she told over to him that if I was your wife, I would poison your cup of tea. So he said to her with chokhmato, he said to her, "And if I was your husband, I would drink that cup of tea." You know, Morai v'Rabotai, this is in the political world. Letzarenu harav, this kind of speech takes place in the home as well. You know, how many times do we see that a husband tells his wife, "I regret marrying you. Chaval, I even met you." Or the wife tells the husband, "You're good for nothing. I don't need you." Or we tell our children, "You're such a failure. You're very slow. Ata busha lamishpacha. You're an embarrassment to our family. You take after your mother's family." Whatever it is, you're trying to insult him or insult her. How often do we do this to each other? When it comes to politics, it's funny and sad. But when it comes to family, when we talk like this, it's dangerous. And we don't realize that this happens so often that insults are part of our lingo. It's almost like, you know, we're used to it. You insult her, she insults you. You attack the child, you criticize the child in a very strong fashion. It's a chelek me'ayom, it's part of your day. It's part of your day. And this is something, Bezrat Hashem, I want to talk about today. How we could improve this. Because if we keep letting it happen, I don't care if you're married for 5 years, I don't care if you're married for 30 years, I don't care if you're still single, I don't care if you're... Every single person, myself included, have a lot of room to improve on when it comes to communication, when it comes to talking to people. You know, the time between Pesach and Lag BaOmer, Klal Yisrael mourns the death of 24,000 of Rabbi Akiva. 24,000 students, Talmidim. 24,000. We sometimes hear this number, we don't realize what it is. It's not just a number, it's 24,000 real people. It's like you have a Madison Square Garden is full of 20,000 people. Imagine everyone, God forbid, dies in a 30-day period. We're talking about tremendous tragedy. And they all died from a mitah called askara. It's a painful death where they have a tough time breathing. It's a choking death. Very, very tragic. And all of them passed away at the same time period. Morai v'Rabotai, why? Why did they have this plague, this sudden tragedy that took away so many scholars? The Chachamim tell us because what? Shelo na'agu kavod ze lezeh. They didn't give the proper respect one to another. And we ask ourselves, how can it be such sages, such Chachamim, not giving proper kavod? What's going on over here? How can it be that these people of high stature would stoop to such a low level? Ma kara po? So listen, there's many answers given to this, but I want you to hear what I'm telling you right now. It's a very, very important point. We know our sages tell us to run away from kavod, run away from honor. Don't do things to get credit, to get honor. Don't look for kavod, run away from it. So these scholars, these students of Rabbi Akiva didn't want any honor. They ran away from honor. As much as possible, they tried being as humble as possible. They always looked to keep themselves on the low, below the radar. But what happens is, when it came to giving honor to others, they didn't do it either. They said, kavod is a terrible thing. So when someone spoke and gave a speech, no chazak baruch, no yasher koach noach, nothing. When someone did something good, they didn't compliment him or her. They didn't give people that good feeling. Why? Because they said, kavod, not a good thing. But what was the mistake? Kavod is something you should run away from. But it's something you must give others. When we say run away from kavod, it doesn't mean don't give it to other people. It means yourself, don't look for it. But when it comes to other people, adarabba v'adarabba. Praise them, compliment them, give them the proper feeling, make them feel good. This is where they, quote unquote, failed. Where they said, oh, kavod is so bad. So you know what? I'm not going to want it, and I'm not going to give it to you either. And this is a ta'ut. You know, when it comes to relationships at home, just think about it. For any of you that are Baruch Hashem married, you know, while you're dating, how is it go? Dating life, thank you, you're welcome, wow, you're the best, I miss you, I can't go without you. You have all these one-liners. You know, you open the car door for her, right? And when she calls you, and you're busy, she's like, are you busy? You really are, but you find a way to throw everyone out of the room so you can talk to her. Right? While you're dating, Baruch Hashem, you make it happen. Suddenly, you're married, a month, 2 months, a year, 2 years. Thank you, is that part of your vocabulary? You don't miss her at all. To open the car door, forget about it. You're driving before she enters the door sometimes. You know, the basic things are missing. You know, and if she calls you, and she asks if you're busy, even if you're not busy, you're saying you're busy. Ma kara? Ech ze יכול להיות? How did we go from being such a tzaddik and such a gentleman to suddenly losing the basics of giving each other kavod? Efos and Ilan, how did it go? Where did it go to? Where did it wither away to? These are questions that we have to ask ourselves. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, how am I treating my wife, my husband? How am I treating my parents, my children? Remember when that baby came into the world, how much love you showered him with, how much love you gave her, and suddenly they become 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, pitom, no time for them. Abba, can we spend time? And his man. Abba, can we this? Go to your mother. Abba, can we? Nothing. What happened? Where is the basic sense of responsibilities? Where has it gone? You know, you have to realize that family life is very complicated. It's very beautiful, but very complicated. How do you say family in Hebrew? Mishpacha. How do you say happiness in Hebrew? Simcha. You know, mishpacha and simcha, family and happy, they have very similar letters. Mishpacha is spelled mem, shin, pei, chet, he, and simcha is sin, mem, chet, he. There's one difference. What extra letters does mishpacha have? The letter pei. You know, we all want to have a mishpacha that's simcha, that's happy. What's the key? Ladies and gentlemen, what's the key to have a mishpacha that's happy? It's the pei, it's the mouth. It's how you use your mouth. That is, it's not how big your house is and how many cars you have and how many clothes you and your wife have. That's all the cherry on the top. The actual cake, the actual thing that makes or breaks a marriage is the communication. It's the pair, it's the communication, talking to one another. You know, like the joke goes that today, everyone's so busy with their phones that the husband could be sitting here and the wife could be sitting here, and the husband sneezes and she sends him a text message, bless you. לא מדברים. אין היום דיבורים, אין communication. You know, if you want to know what is the most important part of family life, it's to keep that line of communication open. לדבר, להתייחס אחד לשני, to communicate and to give each other the attention that he or she deserves. You know, on Shabbat, it's a minhag Israel. I don't care if you're from Afghanistan, or you're from Iran, or you're from Poland, or Germany, or Russia. It makes no difference where you're from. It's brought down, we have a minhag, it's brought down that when you make Kiddush on Friday night, what do you do with the bread? You cover the bread. You cover the bread. Can someone explain to me why they cover the bread? Mr. Abraham, why do you cover the bread? You cover the bread, right? Not to insult the bread. What, your bread has feelings? Huh? Explain to it. Come to the stage, explain to me, what do you mean not to insult the bread? Perception. Imagine right now you have a relative that comes to your house. He never keeps Shabbat, kosher, nothing. You're about to make Kiddush. Right? You tell your wife, please bring me the bread cover. So she's looking for the bread cover. And your friend tells you, tell me, why are you trying to cover the bread? Oh, we don't want to insult the bread. He's going to think you're crazy. Mr. Abraham, what happened to you? Right? What do you mean you don't want to insult the bread? Can you explain this to me, please? Anyone else over here? Misha Chol Azorli? Morai v'Rabotai, listen to what Johnny is telling us. Obviously, the bread has no feelings. Last time I checked, they don't get insulted when you bite it too hard. If it's in the freezer for 2 days, they don't get insulted. They don't get hurt. So why do we, be'emet, cover the bread? I'll ask you a better question. Moshe Rabbeinu, think about it. Am Yisrael is suffering in Egypt. Sevel Norah. We're going through backbreaking labor. We're going through humiliation, degradation. Moshe Rabbeinu is told by God, it's time to save Am Yisrael. And Moshe Rabbeinu is told, go, take your stick, hit the water, and we're going to have the whole water supply in Mitzrayim will be mishutak. It will be paralyzed. They're going to have blood. They won't have water. What does Moshe Rabbeinu say? No, I can't. I cannot hit the water. Why not? The water saved them. Fine, but we have people suffering. What do you mean water saved? The water has no feelings. Just hit the water. But Moshe Rabbeinu refused to hit the water. Why? What's going on over here? You know, it says in the Torah, Kedoshim tiyu. You should be holy. What does it mean, Kedoshim tiyu? What does Kedoshim tiyu? Wear two tefillin, to grow a beard? What's Kedoshim tiyu mean? Says the Ramban, you should separate yourself from what's mutar to you. You know what that means? You should separate from what's mutar to you. For example, imagine you go to a restaurant, all you can eat, for $25. You go, you have your chicken lo mein, chicken fried rice, sesame chicken, you have your egg rolls, you have your this, you have your that. And now you're done, you're satiated. But it's all you could eat. I paid $25 for as much as that. So what? Could you take more sesame chicken, mutar asur? Why not? It's kosher food. Says the Torah, hold off, don't eat it. But it's kosher, what's the problem? You know what the idea is? Listen very carefully, Rabotai. You see, when the Torah tells you Kedoshim to you, it's telling you, you just ate. Tamale, savea, you're satiated. You want more. That more, do you need it? You don't need it. It's what? It's ta'ava, it's a desire. It's a pleasure that you want to basically quench your pleasures. Says the Torah, hold off. You know why hold off? Because later, when you have a forbidden desire, now you already exercise your muscles to fight it off. You fight off something that's forbidden by not doing something that's permitted. You work, like Johnny was saying, on inanimate objects. We cover the bread. We don't want to embarrass it, insult it. You know what that means? Generally, we know we make bracha on the bread first, then other food. But on Shabbat, we do the kiddush and the bread. So we cover the bread not to embarrass it. Not because the bread has feelings. It's to tell you, cover the bread, don't embarrass it. Siman, don't embarrass your wife. Don't embarrass your children. Sometimes the food doesn't come out so good. Makara, you forgot to put the salt. Why? Why say it in a negative fashion? Or the kids are misbehaving, you insult them in front of the guests. If you're covering the bread not to embarrass the bread, the siman is make sure you don't embarrass the human beings in the table. Wife, don't embarrass your husband. Husband, don't embarrass your wife. We're giving you a remez. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't want to hit the water. You know why? Hakarat hatov. Now, of course, if there's no one else to do it, he would have done it. But if there's someone else there, I want to teach everyone a lesson. You don't just degrade and mizalzel something that saved you. Hakarat hatov. Be grateful for the good. You know, when I was in high school, I was very impatient. Also, very angry sometimes. So we had a Rabbi in yeshiva that used to help guide us with midot, character traits. So in order to help me out, what did he tell me? He says, Ilan, from now on, when you come home, we used to live in the second floor of an apartment building. When you come home, you press the button for the elevator. If the elevator is past the third floor, 4, 5, 6, right? It says it on top. If it's past the third floor, you should wait for it. But if the elevator is already there, or on the first floor, or the second floor, third, then you should take the stairs. I said, Rabbi, you don't make any sense. It should be the other way around. He says, no. If it's past the third floor, you wait. If it's below the third floor, you take the stairs. Why? When it's past the third floor, I'm waiting for it. I'm working on my patience. Saflanut. Wait for the elevator. When the elevator is already here on the first and second floor, take the stairs. Don't be lazy. Ati Atzlan. What was the idea behind it? Work on inanimate objects. By working on an inanimate object, you're going to hopefully, get your muscles stronger. And when I have a real life situation of working on my patience or laziness, it's going to help me out. You know how many times you see, you know how you're driving and it shows 7, 6, 5, right? The stop sign is about to start. So what do most people do? Zooming to make sure you catch before. If you want to really work on your savlanut with your wife and your kids or your husband, when you see that, start slowing down. Don't zoom by it. Slow down. Work on these things. It's basically getting your muscles prepared for real life situations. It sounds a little odd. It sounds a little maybe extreme, but it works. It definitely works. If you want to really, Bezrat Hashem, improve your relationship with your wife, your husband, your children, learn how to appreciate the things around you. Appreciate the food that you have. Learn how to control yourself when it comes to food. Learn how to control yourself with all these items, and you see, la'at la'at, you're able to have more savlanut with real life matters. Real situation. If you're not embarrassing the bread, quote unquote, and you think about it, the next time on Friday night when you cover the bread, you say, you know what, today, I'm going to give my wife only compliments. Wow, is a chamin, is also, wow, never tasted such children before. Right? Even if maybe something's missing. Compliment, don't embarrass, don't say, makara, you lost your, you used to be, Baruch Hashem, now learn, compliment, how to say things in a positive fashion. The mouth should be positive. You know, when your child does something wrong, or he gets a 57 on a test, so you see the test, you have to sign it. You know, your older brother is so much smarter than you. You know, איפה אתה ואיפה הוא? תראה איזה עולמות ממש. I don't know if even my child, how did this happen? You know, you're giving him all these insults. אתה כזה לאט, you're so slow, you're so foolish. And you know what happens that night? That child goes to sleep, and he's thinking, my father said, I'm very slow, I'm very foolish. He's brushing his teeth in the morning. He's about to go to school. You know, my father said, I'm very slow, I'm very foolish. My mother says, I'm not as smart as my sister. You know, they said that I'm an embarrassment to the family. That's what they're thinking. They're thinking this, and you're painting a picture for them. I am a failure. Imagine you come over to your child that gets that 57, and you tell him or her, you know, I see you got a 57. You're such a smart boy. I know you could do better. Maybe next time you have a test, me and you are going to work together. Let's see what we can do. Bezrat Hashem, we're going to work together. I'm going to help you out. And he gets to 65. You give him more encouragement. You see? You worked a little harder. You see what you did? Slowly but surely, what are you doing? You're building him up. You're giving. You could have destroyed him or her, or you could build him or her up. How many times do we destroy our children and the youth that we don't realize when they're teenagers and doing something wrong? It's because you already implanted in their heads, Shem Efes, 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 Efes. Chaz v'shalom. Mishpacha, you want to have a mishpacha that's besimcha, morai v'rabotai, work on your mouth. Learn how to give the proper compliments. Learn how to give the proper compliments.
Words have a lot of power.
Morai v'rabotai, listen very carefully. You know, when it talks about the peh, usually we make a beracha. We make a beracha on foods. How many of us even pay attention to the beracha? There's a story of Rabbi Salanter. He was one of the greatest Baalei Musar. Rabbi Salanter one time was in a hotel in France, part of a conference. And what happens is, they're having a whole meal, businessmen, and a rabbanim, this and that, and he asked for a cup of water. Cup of water. At the end of the conference, he says, how much I owe you? He asked the waitress. She tells him, in these times, whatever it is, $5, $6. He says, $5 for a cup of water? Like, what's special about the water in France more than the one I have in Lithuania? That's where he came from. Why is my cup of water $5? She tells him, sir, you're not just paying $5 for the cup of water. You're paying for the ambience, for the serenity, for the beautiful, beautiful chandeliers and the couches you're sitting. You're not just paying for that water itself. Rabbi Salanter heard this. He says, wow, what a big musar. He told the students, we make shakol niya bidvaro. Shakol niya bidvaro. Everything is created through the word of Hashem. He says, why are we saying shakol niya bidvaro on a cup of water, a cup of milk? Right? We're eating a piece of chicken. Shakol niya bidvaro. Why such a dramatic bracha? Shakol niya bidvaro. Everything's from Hashem. So then I realized, when I'm holding that cup of water, I'm not just thanking Hashem for the water. It's for the cup. It's for the chair I'm sitting on. The air-conditioned room that I have. Oh, shtabach Shem olad. Learn how to say the words and appreciate. Hakarat hatov. Hakarat hatov. You make hamotzi lechem min haaretz. You have a nice shawarma. You're holding a nice shawarma. Baruch atah Hashem, Elokeinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. As you say haaretz, the bread is already halfway in your mouth. You don't want to make a hefsek chaz v'shalom between the bracha and the eating. It's like, Rabotai, maybe we could think for a moment about the miracle of this piece of bread. You ever thought about it? Pam chashavtem? Victor Miller points out, says, think for a minute, isn't this piece of bread that you have? There was some guy somewhere in the Midwest, I don't know where he is, that is plowing the land. He has a whole team of people plowing the land, and they're planting the seeds, right? And they have to eventually harvest. There's a lot of work, but they need rain. They need rain. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu brings the sun out, shines it on the ocean, and causes vapor, forms into clouds. Now you have to know the ocean is full of junk and pollution and garbage. And there's a beautiful filtering system. And the clouds, all the garbage is pushed it aside. Now what's it going to be worth if it rains back on the ocean? Hashem brings a strong wind to blow the clouds onto this guy's farm. It rains over there. Ishtabach Shemolad, he has wheat. He harvests it, sends it to a certain company. The company makes it into flour, sends it to a different company. They make it into dough, who makes it into bread. And eventually you're buying it for $1.99, a loaf of bread in your supermarket. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz, you realize the beautiful miracle behind the bread? Do you appreciate the basics that we have to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu? When you're done eating the meal, your mother, your wife, your father, whoever it is that cooked for you, do you say thank you? Ishtabach Shem olad. Some people could sit there saying Birkat Hamazon with kavanah. Says Rabbi Victor Miller, if you don't thank your wife, or whoever it is that cooked for you, then Birkat Hamazon is almost worthless, chad v'shalom. How could you thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu but not thank the messenger that gave you the food? There's someone that brought the food to your table. No, Rabbi, she knows I appreciate it. What she knows? What she knows. Everyone needs the proper kavod. Everyone needs to be recognized, to be appreciated. Let them know it. Let them know how much you appreciate it. Let your husband know how much you appreciate the work that he does and how hard he does for the family. Let them know. Don't assume that he or she knows. Use your peh. תלמדו איך להשתמש בפה כדי להודות, כדי לשבח, to thank, to praise people. You don't understand what a big difference. It builds a connection. You could be already 85, 90 years old. I don't care how old you are. You could be 50, you could be 20. You use your mouth to each other, you'll see. It builds a bond. When you talk to your wife or your husband, your children during the day, don't do it through text messaging. Give them a phone call. Talk to each other. The mouth is a much stronger tool. It's a tool of connection. It's a tool of connection. Tishtamshu b'zeh. Don't let it just wither away. You know, we have, after a wedding, we make Sheva Brachot. Sheva Brachot. You ever wonder, you have a 25-year-old guy, he gets married. Baruch Hashem, he waited many years to get married. His parents drove him crazy. Parents drove her crazy. They're finally married. And 7 days, you have to see the parents every day. Their uncles and aunts and brothers and sisters. Can't we just have the wedding and go straight to Hawaii? Go to Florida, right? Go to Disney World. Why right after the wedding? Boom. Every day you sing your father, your mother-in-law, your father-in-law, fix your tie, fix your this, why is that, how was this? For 25 years you drove me crazy. Now another week I have to sit down with you. Lani, tzadek or not tzadek? I see all the people here laughing. True or not true? Like, what's going on over here? Why do we have to make it so complicated? Why can't we just get married and just boom, enjoy right away? I want you to understand. You see, the Torah is teaching us. The Torah is teaching us. You know what marriage life is all about? Marriage life is not a fantasy. Tomorrow you have a problem. A year from now you have a problem. Disney World's not going to solve the problem. Mickey Mouse and Winnie the Pooh, all those characters are not going to solve your problem. Hawaii won't solve the problem. You start off marriage life with reality to understand marriage is all about mishpacha. The first week of marriage is all about family, to tell you that marriage is about family. It's not about fantasies. That's all fake. To tell you that the purpose of your marriage is to build a stronger family, to bring Bezrat Hashem children to the world. People that get married and they go straight to La La Land, as they say, ze mizuyaf, it's fake. You're building a wrong perception of marriage. Therefore, for one full week, you stay with your family, and you have Sheva Brachot, and you see them every single day, to tell you that is the purpose of marriage life. So many people today get married with kol minei dimyonot. Get it out of your system. Family, it's mishpacha. And what's mishpacha? It's all about the peh. It's all about the mouth. There's one bracha in Sheva Brachot that we make. Baruch atah Hashem, she'akol bara lichvodo. She'akol bara lichvodo. Who's lichvodo? Who are we talking about? The husband? Who are we talking about? Lichvodo shel borei olam. She'akol bara lichvodo. If you get married, recognizing we're here to do for borei olam. It's not about me. It's not about her. It's about what can we do for this world? How much more chesed? What can we do for this world? How much more Torah? She'akol bara lichvodo. If your goal is spiritually oriented, you'll see a lot of bracha in your marriage. Ish ve'isha, man and woman. Spelled Aleph Yud Shin is man. Isha Aleph Shin Hey. If you look, the man has a Yud, the woman has a Hey, and then they both have an Esh and Esh. If you have Hashem in your marriage, you have the Yud K. You have Hashem part of it. If not, you have Esh ve'esh, fire and fire. She'akol bara lichvodo, morai v'rabotai, chesed, Torah, to do for Am Yisrael. I'll tell you Maaseh Shaya when I was like 17 years old. Story that shows you if your marriage is based on shtuyot, what happens. I was 17 years old sitting in a pizza shop in the Main Street area with one of my friends. Right next to us was an Israeli couple with like a 3-year-old son. As me and my friend are eating, we see they're having a machloket, they're having an argument, they're starting to argue with each other. The husband is telling the wife to get the ketchup. She refuses to get the ketchup. She's working hard. She's running after the kid. She tells him, you get the ketchup. And he's saying, Ani ayef. And they're mamash fighting about who's going to get the ketchup. So what happens is, I'm a 17-year-old boy in yeshiva. This for me is like a movie. It's like entertainment. You know, we don't have movies, Baruch Hashem. This is for me my entertainment, quote unquote. So they're arguing about this. What happens is, the husband gets up. He says, I'm going to the bathroom. When I come back from the restroom, I expect the ketchup to be here. Wow, like me and my friend, like, wow. Okay, he gets up, goes to the bathroom, and she was a good, tough Israeli woman. She wasn't going to budge. He's threatening me. She, in the meantime, is busy feeding her child. She's running after her child. He's going here, he's going there. And I and my friend, we think of a genius idea. He's in the bathroom, she's over there. We take ketchup from our table, we put it on their table. Baruch Hashem, now they have ketchup on the table. The guy comes out of the bathroom a minute or two later. You can see as he's coming out, he's looking to see what's going on. And he sees, Baruch Hashem, there's ketchup on the table. You can almost see on his forehead, it says, I won. I won her. He comes, he sits down, he starts eating. She comes back 30, 40 seconds later. She's also looking. You can almost read in her head. It says, I won him. They're both, bli lagzim, sitting down, eating, laughing, talking. Very romantic lunch together. I think this is the first shalom bayit I did in my life. Between the two of them. They're mamash enjoying it. They're mamash sitting there enjoying the meal. And what was the fight about? Who's going to go get the ketchup from the front of the store? Now, I don't know what happened when they got home. Could be he sat there listening, thank you for getting it. Like, what do you mean I didn't get it? You got it. And I don't know what happened after that. But the idea is stupidity. If you look at the fights, stupidity. He could have used his pair. She could have used her pair. Answering differently, respectfully, and the whole thing never would have happened. But what? They're all about me, myself, and I. Morai v'rabotai, mishpacha. Use the pair. You want real simcha? Control your mouth. You learn how to speak. Even if you're having a hard time, control your mouth. You're stressed out, control your mouth. Never let your mouth lose it, chadu shalom. You'll see so much more bracha, so much more success. Because ultimately, shakol bara lichvodo. It's not about me, it's about HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bringing Kiddush Hashem to the world. That's what it comes down to. I want to end off with a beautiful story. Phenomenal story with a tremendous lesson. I'm sure everyone here heard of Rabbi Avram J. Twersky, a very well-known Rav and therapist, a person that Baruch Hashem did a lot for Klal Yisrael. His father, Rabbi Twersky's father, was a Horner Steipel Rebbe in Milwaukee. He was a Rebbe in Milwaukee. Towards the end of his life, about 2 or 3 months before the father passed away, he was diagnosed, Hashem Yishmo, with pancreatic cancer. Something that doesn't really have much of a cure. So as they're in the hospital discussing things with the doctor steps out, and the father tells his son, who's also a doctor, says, tell me, chemotherapy won't help me, right? And the son says, Abba, the truth is, from my experience, it's not going to help you. Son, he says, if I do take it, is it going to cause me more pain? Is it going to be okay? He says, Abba, it's going to be very, very painful. So he says, according to your opinion, should I take the chemo or should I not take the chemo? What do you say? He says, Abba, again, from my understanding and my experience, better off for you not to take it. Just live your life as Rad Hashem. You're just going to suffer by doing it. So the father and son agree that what? No chemotherapy. A couple of minutes later, the wife, the Rebbitzin, walks into the room. She says, okay, I just spoke to the doctors. We're going to Bezrat Hashem start chemotherapy. The patient, the husband, the rabbi, hears this and says, yes, Bezrat Hashem, we're starting chemotherapy. And the son is baffled. Like, Dad, did you just lose your mind? We just agreed that you're not doing it. And he basically hints to his son to remain quiet. The son says, Abba, I don't get it. Can you explain to me? Just a few minutes ago we agreed it's not good for you. It's going to be hurting you more. It's going to give you more tzar. Better off not to do it. Why did you suddenly change your mind? Listen to what he says to his son. An unbelievable Musar Haskel. He says to his son as follows. You see, whether I take the chemo or not, my time is very limited. That we could all agree. But your mother, my wife, she was convinced that the chemo will help me out. Imagine I don't take it, and when I pass away, what's going to happen in her mind? I should have made him do it. If only he would have done it, he would have lived a little longer. So in order for her not to live with this for the rest of her life, I'm going to do this. So she won't have this tsar always thinking about this. Morai v'rabotai, he could have told his wife, listen, Giveret, I hear what you're saying, but I decided I'm not doing it. No. He saw that his wife believed in it, and the doctor convinced her. Letovat ishto, to not give her tsar. He went out of his way to get even more suffering himself. Lo alem v'lo alechem, any of these stories. But what I do want to say is sensitivity. Sensitivity to your wife, to your husband. How many times you insult each other? How many times you say, I wish I didn't this, I wish I didn't that, I can't stand you, I wish I... How many times you insult and you hurt and you destroy? There was one woman about 10 years ago, her husband passed away. And a year or 2 or 3 later, she was still betzar gadol. She was going through tremendous suffering. And one of the Rabbanim sat down with her and tried seeing what's going on in her heart. And she said to him, no, Kvod Harav, you don't get it. I got over the fact that my husband died. I accepted it. This is Ratzon Hashem. Everyone passes away eventually. What I cannot stand, however, is I'm just thinking about the embarrassment he's going through when they're showing him the videos of how we treated each other. That's what's driving me crazy. This is what's killing me inside of me. That he was going to go through this busha in Shamayim, which I caused him. I was at fault as well. Morai v'rabotai, think always, what am I doing to her? What am I doing to him? The lev, the heart, kavod ze lezeh, to give the proper honor to each other, the respect to each other. Every single one of us sitting in this room has room for improvement. And I'm telling you, try it out. Do this as an experiment. Right? For 1 week, you tell yourself, starting today, I'm going to work on my derech eretz for 1 week, not to complain, just to give compliments, just to give chizuk to my wife, to my children, to my husband, to my parents, to my brother, to my whatever it is, to learn how to be appreciative, to constantly thank and constantly show hakarat hatov. You will see a beautiful atmosphere in your home. The atmosphere in your home will be so positive, so nice. And all it takes is what? It's the pay, it's a few words. Rabbi Victor Miller says even add fake compliments. From fake compliments and fake smiles comes a lot of good things. You know how it is. In shul, everyone's a chever man. Hey, what's your name? Hey, oh, hey. Right? They come on. Why is it at work, in shul, with your friends, everyone's a good man? Everyone's a great lady. Suddenly when they come home, they're a different person. Learn how to put that fake smile that you put at work, bring it to the house as well. It's going to go a long way. It's going to go a tremendously long way. So I think if we can end off with a quick chazara. We talked about this politician from London, the insults he and her were giving to each other. Morai v'rabotai, in politics it's funny. We all laugh when Donald Trump says stupid comments, right? We find it funny. Beseder. But if those comments are made at home, it's not so funny, right? The insults that we see today, you know, I was talking with my son about this, because in yeshiva they talk about it also, what Trump said in Clinton. This is going back in the times of the, the debates. You know, when you see the so-called leaders of our civilized world talking the way they did, with the insults that she gave him and he gave her, and everyone's trying to insult each other. Where does it show our children? This is who's quote-unquote leading our countries. Shiur barim, beseder. In politics, it could be funny, but at home it's not funny. Work on giving compliments to your family members. Remember that Rabbi Akiva lost 24,000 students. Why? Because on Agus, the kavod ze bezeh. They realized that kavod is not healthy, so they didn't give kavod to others. The Torah is against you running after honor. So they didn't give honor to others, but that's a mistake. Don't run after honor for yourself, but give it to others. Give it. Compliment. Give the proper compliment to your husband, to your wife, to your children. And most importantly, Morai v'rabotai, like we said, If you want to exercise your muscles when it comes to these things, practice on inanimate objects. Try it out. Try it out. The next time you're sitting at work and you have your food in front of you and you're satiated and you have some left over and you have a ta'ava to eat it, don't eat it. The next time you ladies are sitting at home and you want to read a book and just take a chocolate and a second chocolate and a third chocolate and a fourth chocolate, stop at number 3. Right? Stop at a certain point and you'll see that by practicing on inanimate objects, it's going to help you when it comes to the real world. And Shakol bara lichvodo, ultimately we're doing everything for Hashem. We're all here to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Everyone get involved with something kadosh. Some people could get involved by volunteering their time. Some people could give financially. Some people could just teach people. Some people could encourage others. Get involved. Shakol bara lichvodo. Don't just live for yourself. You know, Baruch Hashem, at Chazak, we try as much as possible to do for public school youth. As much as possible, programs and after school programs and yeshiva placement. Every single person sitting in this room, you have a neighbor, a cousin, a brother, a sister that goes to public school. No question about it. And you say, no, my kids are in yeshiva, it's fine. Shakol bara lechvodo, you have to do for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If you know someone, you could direct them towards us, and b'simcha rabba, we'll help them out from A to Z to put them into yeshiva. You know how many kids we have in our community, teenagers, Hashem Yishmor, that are what? Involved in drugs and crime, Achmana al-Zan. Get involved. Tell us. We'll help them out. We have a whole team of people, we have a whole staff of people that Baruch Hashem are out to try to help out these public school students. Please, don't just be kachan complacent. Things are good in your home, it's good everywhere else. It's not good everywhere else. You know, Baruch Hashem, in the past year and a half, we worked tirelessly in this matter. Chazak has transferred over 360 kids from public schools to yeshivot. It's mamash an unbelievable number. And each one, tidu lachem, you ever try to make a shidduch between a husband and a wife, between a man and a woman? Why? What a headache. Right? Just to get them to get married, and he said, she said, the father wants this, it's a big headache. To put it into yeshiva is not so easy. Many times the father wants, the mother doesn't want, or the mother wants, the father doesn't want, or the parents want, but the kid doesn't want, or the kid wants, but the school doesn't want him. It's a big time shidduch, habibi. Every case is a case b'fnei atzmo. You know, it's a lot of work, but you don't have to do the work. We're telling you, come to us. We have a good team of people. Rabbi Ephraim, you have Danny sitting in the back. We have another 20, 30 people that work for us over there. They will do the job for you. They'll open up Sunday programs for you. They'll open up after-school programs for you. Mamash, to save these youth. It's not my children, it's probably not your children, but it's children in our community. So as much as you can for HaKadosh Baruch Hu as well. And you should know, the more you do for Hashem, midah keneged midah, Hashem will do for you. You know, when you help out someone else's child, Hashem says, wow, look at that. He gave money towards this cause, or he helped out this child by inviting him to the house, or he helped him put into yeshiva. He already got some yisurin on other people's children. Let me take it off from his own children. You know, I always tell people, something I heard from a stipler. Everyone has to bring a certain amount of children to the world. If you have to bring in 5 children to the world, and you only have 3 children, you stop at 3, you'll get the headache of 5 children in those 3. You're not running away from your responsibilities. You understand? So if you want to minus from your responsibilities, do for other children. You do for other children in the Kehillah, Hashem will take away the headache from your children. Be'ezrat Hashem, al tiyeh birkat ediot kala beinecha. I bless every single one of you. Hashem should give you all arichut shanim, bebriut ve'nachal be'ezrat Hashem. You should have true shalom bayit ve'simchat ha'chaim, and the simcha is all dependent on the peh. My bracha means nothing if you don't try to work on it. Right? If you want to have simcha in your home, work on your peh, connect with your wife, with your husband, with your children, and every single one of us should be blessed be'emet to see only nachat mikol yetzer chalatzenu, and we should ultimately be zocheh lerot b'yad goel tzedek b'mera b'yameinu, amen ve'amen.